Doctor Who, The Doctor, The Widow and the Wardrobe, the 2011 Christmas special, is written by Stephen Moffat and starring Matt Smith and Claire Skinner. So Stephen Moffat wanted to be most Christmassy ever for this Christmas special, and he thought nothing more fun than writing the Doctor on Christmas, and described it as his kind of day. Everything's bright and shiny, everybody's having a laugh, and nobody minds if you wear a really stupid hat. So he took the inspiration from the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and said Doctor Who and the Narnia story come from the same impulse that children have of escaping to another world. So the filming was supposed to finish by mid-October, but got interrupted in 30th of September by a 24-hour protest at BBC Wales because of the compulsory redundancies, but eventually got finished. This is where Caroline Skinner became the executive producer, as she worked with Stephen Moffat before, and this is the end of Piers Wenger as executive producer. So in the prequel, the Doctor sends Amy a voicemail when she's not actually in the TARDIS. As the Doctor is holding the red button, the spaceship he's on bursts into flames. We're like, oh my god! How's he gonna get out of this one? So we have a fantastic opening as the Doctor fell out the ship. And grabbed hold of the spacesuit, fell down to Earth with the helmet back to front. We introduced Claire Skinner as Marge Arwell, a brief companion of the 11th Doctor. She's pretty great like, so she helps the Doctor to find the TARDIS but got into the wrong police box, which is pretty funny. She says no one should be alone on Christmas and doesn't like it when her husband, Reg Arwell, reading a newspaper about the war, who's an RAF bomber pilot played by Alexander Armstrong. And yes, he voiced Mr. Smith in Sarah Jane Adventures and Doctor Who, The Stolen Earth and Journey's End. This episode is set in 1941 on Christmas Eve and Day. While Reg is in the plane with his mate and possibly, well, lost in action, Marge has a telegram but didn't want to tell her kids until after Christmas, so they went to Uncle Digby's house to stay over while there's bombs going on. Holly Earl and Maurice Cole played Lily and Cyril Arwell, the children of Marge and Reg Arwell. They're great as well, and so is Alexander Armstrong, obviously. The Doctor answered the door, identifying himself mostly as the caretaker, but he says he's the Doctor, or get off his planet, even though he mentioned that's not a name. I love the bit where he does the tour in the house, especially when he says, I know, and also the hot, cold and lemonade tap. Why not? Matt Smith did a fantastic job as the 11th Doctor with the child in a grown man's body. I love his speech when he says, because what's the point in them being happy now if they're going to be sad later? The answer is, of course, because they are going to be sad later, and it's handled well. We get a lovely scene where Marge says to Lily and Cyril that it's going to be the best Christmas ever. At night, as Cyril got out of hammock, he unwraps a big Christmas present, which turns out to be a portal into another planet, a snow forest with Christmas trees with silver ball growing. That turns out to be an egg. Is it a velociraptor? I'm getting Jurassic Park vibes here. So he followed the footprints. Meanwhile, Lily sees the Doctor in his room and wonders why he's got a telephone box in his room and why did he wire a wardrobe. As the Doctor said, the TARDIS is his wardrobe. As the Doctor and Lily found out Cyril isn't in his hammock, they go into another planet to find him. Cyril goes into a tower where there's wooden king and queen. According to Matt Smith, it was really tough shoot out in a forest at night, and because there were children involved, some shooting schedules had to change radically. They often have to shoot through no breaks. They get to eat lunch at midnight or something. Jeez. Meanwhile, Marge goes to find them, so she went into the planet and met up with the Harvest Rangers from Androzani, referencing the Caves of Androzani, Peter Davidson's final story. Droxel, Vengar and Billet, played by Bill Bailey, Paul Baisley and Arabella Weir. They're great as well. I thought the suits looked pretty cool. Arabella was genuinely surprised and completely thrilled to get the part, and she voiced the alternative version of the third Doctor in Doctor Who Unbound Audio, Exile. Bill Bailey is happy to be given a comedic human character, saying the fact that he almost playing a human means the expressions are easier to do. If he was an ood with a face full of tentacles, that would be harder to bring the funny. So Marge ended up crying, so Droxel couldn't interrogate her, so Billis respected her and put her gun down, which encouraged the other two Rangers to do so. Then Marge pointed a gun at them as she's looking for her kids. The Doctor and Lily went inside the building, suspecting there's a trap, I love the Forest of Cheam reference when he mentioned one of them fancied the Doctor, which is Jabe from The End of the World. It's pretty intense when the Wooden King is moving towards them as the Doctor and Lily gone into the throne room. Sonic Screwdriver doesn't really do wood. Cyril is wearing a crown, but he was too weak, and so is the Doctor. Lily is strong. Meanwhile, Marge handcuffed both male rangers. She allowed Billis to find her kids because the forest was to be harvested by acid rain. The 3 rangers disappeared. Marge operated it on her own, and I love the bit when she tells the Doctor that he's fired. So she quickly went inside the building, got a crown on, and she was perfect because, well, she's very strong. Wooden King and Queen are created from an Androzani tree, which I thought that looked cool. So they got Marge travelling in Vortex with her thinking about Reg, but she didn't want to see him die, which made Lily and Cyril suspecting that he died in action. However, it signalled Reg and brought him home for Christmas. As Marge tells her kids what happened to their dad, they found out he's alive and well. So in the end, the family are having Christmas together. The Doctor's in the attic, and Marge realised it was the Doctor that she helped whilst wearing a spacesuit. And I love the bit where she tells the Doctor off because his friend's thinking that the Doctor is dead. So she forced the Doctor to arrive at Amy and Rory's house for Christmas. Amy squirted a water pistol at him because it's been 2 years. They knew he wasn't dead because River told them, so they didn't look and talk to each other for a bit, but then they're happy to see each other again. We get a nice ending where the Doctor spends Christmas with Amy and Rory, and I love the idea of Doctor Who meeting Narnia. Great stuff in there. What did you think of The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.